Hi, this is another sermon from my backyard. It's based on Matthew 22, verses 15 through 22. This is from the last week of Jesus' life. He, at this point, is teaching in the temple complex in Jerusalem. You can see my dog in the back there. And he is being challenged by many of the forces and powers of the world. And so he was being challenged this week by Pharisees and Herodians. Let me first do the reading. Then the Pharisees went and plotted to entrap Jesus in what he said. So they sent their disciples to him along with the Herodians, saying, "Teacher, we know you are sincere and teach the way of God in accordance with the truth and show deference to no one. For you do not regard people with partiality. Tell us then, what do you think? Is it lawful to pay taxes to the emperor or not?" But Jesus, aware of their malice, said, "Why are you putting me to the test, you hypocrites? Show me the coin used for the tax." And they brought him a denarius. Then he said to them, "Whose head is this, and whose title?" They answered, "The emperor's." Then he said to them, "Give to the emperor the things that are the emperor's, and to God the things that are God's." When they heard this, they were stunned, and they left him and went away. Please join me in prayer. May the words of my mouth and the meditations of all your hearts be acceptable in your sight, O Lord, our rock and our Redeemer. Amen. Who do you serve? Who is number one in your life? Who has your focus, your allegiance, your respect, your honor? That is at the core of this question and this debate. This is a first commandment. I am the Lord your God. You shall have no other gods before me. That is the first commandment. This is a first commandment question. But there is a lot more going on. For a bit of context, Vanessa went to the University of Pittsburgh. I went to Penn State University. These two are opponents, are opposed to each other in sports. When Vanessa went to Pittsburgh, when they were playing other schools in football and basketball, one of their cheers was "Penn State sucks." Sometimes Penn State fans would make an unfortunate ribald comparison to a word that rhymes with Pittsburgh or rhymes with Pitt. These were schools that did not get along with each other. And my family and her family have poked a lot of fun at that fact. It would be like cheering for both Oregon State and the University of Oregon when the two play each other in the Platypus Bowl. They are opposed to each other. The Pharisees and the Herodians were two diametrically opposed groups. The Pharisees are teachers of the law who want the Jewish people to live out and proclaim all of God's laws and all of God's rules. The Herodians were people who thought that collaboration with Rome was not even possible, but was advisable and right. They thought that secular Judaism, living according to Roman ways and rules, made sense. These are two groups that should be butting heads over and over against each other. They are two groups that should not be getting along. It would be as if Joe Biden and Donald Trump teamed up against one other candidate. That's what it means for the Pharisees and the Herodians to be working together. They are two separate parties that are engaging together what they see as a common threat: Jesus, who is the Christ. You can tell in the way that I read it that it feels like the Pharisees and their disciples and the Herodians are trying to butter Jesus up. If one of you spoke to me in the manner of the words here, I would think, okay, what do you want to borrow from me? How much money do you want? What is the ask? Let me try this again. From verse 16. Teacher, we know you are sincere and show deference to no one, for you do not regard people with partiality. Tell us, therefore, what you think. They are laying it on thick here. Their words do not seem sincere. Their words seem to be someone who is trying to, who is, if we're going to be honest, full of it. Tell us, should we pay taxes, they ask, to the emperor or not? They think that they have caught Jesus in a cunning trap. They think that he is either going to say yes or no, that they have asked a question that has a clear yes or no to it. And here is why a simple yes or a simple no would be a problem. If Jesus says, yes, you should pay taxes to the emperor, how popular are taxes now? If I were to say to you, you should pay more taxes. Your tax rate needs to go up. All of you should pay more taxes. You wouldn't like it. No one is ever really all that excited to pay taxes. And our taxes by far more now pay for far more than taxes back then did. If you think about it, our taxes go to things like school. They go to things like healthcare. They go to things like women, infant, and children, a program to make sure that a child in this country will ideally have food. Our taxes go to things like the national park system. Our taxes support roads, fire, police. Our taxes go to a number of different things. And you might argue that you don't like as much of it going to this or that. But taxes pay for far more than they did in Rome. In the Roman Empire, taxes in Judah predominantly went to support the Roman state, to support an army that would arrest and crucify you without trial, to support the excess lifestyle of the Roman emperor and the people back in the imperial cities. If you lived in Judea in the first century, your taxes got you very little, if not nothing. That's if Jesus says yes. If he says no, you shouldn't pay taxes to the emperor, then he can be arrested, for he is a seditious rebel who is arguing against the Roman Empire. This would cause him and his followers to be captured and put to death. The Pharisees and the Herodians, two groups that should be opposed, think that they have got Jesus caught in a trap. But Jesus, being the Messiah, being the Son of God, always sees a way out. He says to them, show me the coin used for the tax. Now they are inside the temple. They're inside the holiest place, seen to be God's dwelling on earth. And they pull out a denarius. And he says, whose head is this and whose title? Now, the Pharisees and Herodians were in trouble on two accounts. First off, it says in the Ten Commandments that you shall not make a graven image of anything on earth above the earth. And a denarius has a graven image of the emperor's face. Here in the holiest place, the Pharisees, who saw themselves as the people who were trying to keep ritual purity in Judaism, have shown that there is clearly some laws that they follow and some laws that they will not. Moreover, the denarius in this holiest place doesn't just have the emperor's head, nor does it merely say the emperor's name. The denarius said, son of the divine Caesar, or to put it another way, son of God, Caesar. That proclamation is opposed to the proclamation at the heart of the Ten Commandments, that God is one and God alone. Here in this holy place, the coin that they show, the common coin of the Roman Empire, has the claim that Caesar had, that he was God, that he demanded their devotion and their loyalty. This discussion is one that's always good, especially in fall, in election season. Every 2 years, and especially every 4 years, political candidates and parties want to claim that they should be number one in our life, want to claim that if we don't vote for them, or that we are going to fail, that they are going to fix all of our problems. God is the only number one in our life. God is the only one who deserves to be first. God is the only one who deserves our focus. God is the only one who deserves our devotion and our love. Who should we give our focus? It is not any of these factions. It is not Pharisees or Herodians. It is not Sadducees or the chief priests. It is not our schools, as much as we might want to see the Ducks or the Beavers or the Nittany Lions win. It is not them. It is not political parties. It is not the Green Party or the Libertarians or the Republicans or the Democrats. God is to be number one. Our focus worthy of honor and devotion. We are to give to God the things that belong to God. Our trust, our hope, our work, our efforts, our joy. We are to give God our worries and fears. We are to give God our hopes and praise. We are to give to God, because that God, the one who taught in the temple almost 2,000 years ago, is also the God who became human for us, is the God who was incarnate of Mary, is the God who taught, bad English, who healed, who preached, is the God who ascended to the cross, is the God who died for us, is the God who rose from the dead for us, is the God who promises that life in him is not about focusing on how I can take care of me, but it is life that is spent focusing on how I can love and care for others. May you know that God, and may you call him by name. Amen.